Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Facebook family, LinkedIn family, and I think YouTube. This is Dr. Dale here. I wanted to come in here today and kind of say hi. You know, I haven't kind of came on live in a few weeks, I think, few months even. If you guys are following me, you guys are following me. And I wanted to have a conversation about all things you, all things me, all things life. So I'm here at my lake house, and you guys will see the background over there. But let me show you guys this better background of my pier here so you guys can see what I'm working with. Look at that water. You see that? Tell me that ain't life right now. I don't know how many degrees it is out here in North Central Florida, but it feels good. It feels very good. So I wanted to come on here to kind of ask that question, right? When was the last time you had a first? And in these past couple of months, I wanted to share the last time I had a couple of firsts, and in hopes of the story, the conversation, you know, ignites something in you and reminds you of your journey and where you're on and how you can plummet, make a positive impact, be better than you were yesterday, and love yourself even more. That's pretty much what it's all about. Love yourself even more. So I wanted to say that there's a quote by Brene Brown, I should say, that starts with the loving yourself, like owning your story and loving yourself through that process is one of the best decisions you will ever make in your entire life, right? And that's the process, that's the journey that I've been on for quite some time. And I know if you are a person that cares about how you make other people feel, how you feel about yourself, and loving yourself through that process, I'm sure you would want to make sure that you are also owning your story, number one. Number two, loving yourself through that journey. And number three, going back and sharing that journey, that story with others to see if you can bring others along with you, right? Um, so my first that I've had in the past 3 months, let's go the last 3 months, right? Because we could go on forever, forever. So happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that you are blessed, highly favored. I know that life, there's always something going on, right? That can go left, that can go left or right. But whatever it is, I hope and I pray that you are becoming that best version of you. You're learning through it, and that give yourself grace, give yourself space through the process, and be that best version of yourself, and just take your time, whatever it is that you're going through. It's a season. The seasons, one thing about seasons, they don't come to last. They come to go. So thank God for the seasons, um, and for them to come, and then they can keep going, right? If you're in a great season right now, enjoy it. Have the heck of a fun about it, over it. And if you're not in such a great season right now, and things are not going so well, then also take your time through that, right? And one thing for sure, give yourself grace, give yourself space, right? So that's that's the summary, right? So in September, my last time I had a first was September was, I went to Honduras, which is where I was born and raised. And it's not that I haven't been there before, right? I've been there, came here when I was 13 years old, so a little bit over 20 years ago, right? And that was a first for me because I went there with my husband. Married now, going on 13 years, known each other for 20 plus years since high school. And it was a good experience, an awesome experience, if I might add, to say that it was a first experience of him being there because all of this time I've been telling my husband about my why, who I am, you know, who I wanted to be, where I came from. So it was kind of cool to let him see it in action. He got to see where I grew up, where I played. He got to see the church that I went to. We went to church. He got to be there. He saw the people. He saw my extended family. He saw my friends, culture. He got to know and understand. If he didn't understand it for these past 20 plus years that we known each other, he definitely understands it now. He definitely understands it now. So he went there, we went there, and that was a really good experience. And we didn't just go there at a whatever time. Um we went there for Quince. And if anybody knows Quince in Honduras, Ratan, it's the 15th of September. That's our Independence Day. And you can consider that a combination of the 4th of July with with Carnival, with all of the above. And if you follow me on social media, I did like a whole live on it because it was life to me. That whole experience growing up and being back there kind of changed my life, right? And it's a huge part of why I and how I became the person that I am today, right? That's one. And while I was there, it was only not only to go and experience that with him, but it was a family reunion, right? Family reunion, yes, you guys, is still a thing. It's a huge thing. So, um, it had a family reunion, got together with family that haven't seen in a while, and it was just a really good experience. Granted, I know you don't always agree with family, right? You don't always agree with them, but you love each other. You want them, though some of them may have done you harm, hurt you, said things to you, did whatever they did to you. Yes, yes, it was wrong. They shouldn't have done it, but it happened. Number one. Number two, it's already done. Can't undo it, right? And number three, you're going to have to, for you to heal, right? For you to heal internally, you're going to have to forgive and let that go if you want to heal. If you're not interested in healing, then my recommendation is keep on holding on to it and keep on doing what you're doing. But you're going to have to heal from it. If you want, in order to move on from it, you have to heal from it. That's a book all by itself. So, with that being said, it was great. The experience was good. Spent a lot of put out a lot of information, got together with the church members because we were kind of celebrating like a 2-in-1 ordeal, like a family reunion. And at the same time, it was my grandmother's life celebration. And that was beautiful, right? I experienced that. I was kind of like the host, and you imagine, like, if you're from the islands, you would understand. But you imagine going back home to all of the all of the people that you grew up with that saw you as a little child, and you're going back there now 30 plus years later, and they're looking at you like, you're what? You're a doctor now? And you're coming to telling us what to do, or you're making jokes, like they're looking at me like, ha, Miss Miriam's daughter, this, that, this. And I because I have the gift of people and I understand like I'm a people person, I break them down with laughter and jokes and connecting with them and reminding them that um who I was and that I am one of them and that we're all, where I came from, and reminding them of what I did when I was growing up with some of their kids, or they themselves that were kids with me or my peers and whatnot. But the point is that people hold on to what you were sometimes, right? But in reality, you're not that person anymore. You're not that person anymore. And it's okay for you to let them know respectfully that you're not that person anymore. It's okay to do that, right? It's okay to let them know that you're not that person anymore. And it's okay, right? Um, so I got to experience that. And granted, if you're from the islands, or should I say, if you're a human being and you have all things, friends and family that just bring out, sometimes they say, you bring out the worst in me. In reality, they're bringing out the best in you because they're showing you what's inside of you, right? They're showing you what's inside of you. And a lot of things was said and done. And it simply reminded me of one, I'm like, man, I remember when I used to do that, or remember when I used to do this, right? I remember you when I used to go there, or pretend I was this, when in reality, on the inside, I really didn't want to go there, but I went there because everybody else was going there, and because they peer pressure, all this stuff, because you went back. I went back to where I grew up, where I was that little insecure little girl, not confident, trying to find myself, um, an Afro Latina, Afro Latina, trying to get a handle on how am I gonna do better in life and make my family proud of me, and um, make sure that I was doing the right thing, all the time, right? Not some of the times, all the time, because I saw a lot of what my peers did that didn't turn out so good, and also my siblings. And then I saw a lot of things that they did do that I wanted to imitate, right, or do better, right? So that was one. That was the last time. That was the last time I had a first. That was in the month of September. Went on a family vacation with my husband for the very first time, and that was a really great experience that I will never ever take away, never ever take away, because it made me better. It was a good experience. The engagement, the people, the reminder, the reconnections. Um, and at the end of the day, I walked away dropping, I gave laughter and gems and dropped value on them, and vice versa, right? They were like, because I'm like my mom's last daughter, and I will say the one she loves the most, but whatever. If my siblings are gonna agree with me. uh, um, but I, my mom last daughter, and everybody over there, they're like, that's Miriam's last draining. So, uh, I would consider myself, and I would say that at the end of the day, it's yes, whatever it is that you did, you did. Whatever is done is done. But it was really good to go back. I left there a teenager at 12, 13, I think. And I came back 30 plus years later, like 15, well, 20 years plus later, right? And I was better, right? And not only that, we were able to share. My sister has this nonprofit for that helps and gives back to our people back home in Honduras. community in terms of, food and water and health and medications and all this stuff. And we were able to, the kids with the schools and the books and all this bunch of stuff. So being a part of that and seeing the community, seeing where it was before, which was not good, and seeing that it came up, it's doing a little bit better. That was really good to see that. I enjoyed that, right? And to make sure, it kind of reminded me, hey, you remember, you do want to help and give back. And so it was kind of like a reminder for me to do that, right? So that's on my short-term, long-term list of things to do for my people back home in Honduras. So that was my last time I had a first in September. So let's go now to October. So September was a little bit more personal, family, right? Um, October now is a little bit more professional. So here goes. In the month of October, August, September, yeah, October, specifically the 4th and the 5th, I for the past 4 or 5 months, I've been working on a project at my job. For those that don't know, I am the head of HR, chief HR officer at mental health, in the mental health space in North Central Florida. And I've been working on a project, and that project that I assigned myself was to do a summit for all of my executive leaders, right? All of the VPs, directors, managers, you name it, and all of my peers as well, which is, the chief head of this, the chief head of that, CEO, all of that. So doing that and preparing for that, and it was like a total of 80 plus people, and working with my HR team. And it was a combination of I had like 10, 7, 7 or 10 plus speakers, right? Great speakers. And it was a summit that spanned 2 days, entire 8 hours. Who would give themselves that kind of project, right? Who would give themselves that kind of project? I saw a need. I saw an opportunity, a challenge, and I took it. I took it, right? And it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, I must say. One of the hardest things I ever had to do, of doing that project, that leadership summit in the mental health space. You already got people that you know, are already thinking, if these are all leaders, I don't have time for this. Like, I need to go and look at patients. I need to go see my patients to do this. I need to train employees to do that. I need to do this or that. And the mindset, that was the mindset that the majority of my leaders then came in with, because again, their schedules is tight, and we have a lot going on, and we're always busy, right? So I knew it had to be specific, focus. I knew it had to be timed and structured, right? Knowing all of this information caused me to, yeah, it's not something that you plan from one day to the next. It's something that you have to be very meticulous and detail, and picking out the specific speakers. I had TM Hyman. If you guys don't know him, look him up. He's definitely a speaker and moderator on Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse. I had Stars Tina Wilson. You guys don't know her. You can also follow her. I think I'm friends with both of them on all of my socials. And um, I had the VP of Chief HR from First Federal Bank. I had a executive coach for training and development, for conflict resolution. I had an APRN, which is an advanced practitioner nurse, that came and spoke on relationship management that does speaking as well here in North Central Florida. Like we had speakers, great talent and experts in their own field. And of course, definitely had my CEO that spoke on there and kind of shared his story. And of course, if you know me, I am all things emotional intelligence and all about learning yourself, getting to know yourself, understanding your why, right? Knowing your story, right? Which is what this conversation is mainly about. You don't know your story. Getting to know yourself is a part of getting to know your story. And I say, I have my little phrase that says, be the boss of you with intelligence, right? And that means no matter where you are showing up as the boss of yourself, right? And the boss of yourself involves you getting a handle on your emotions, getting a handle on your story, on your why, you're good, you're bad, you're different, whatever it is that makes you up is you getting a handle on that, right? So that was a piece of it. And then the purpose of this leadership summit was to one, the organization has never done anything like that, right? So this was the first, and it was an amazing first because I had an awesome HR team that kind of jumped in and was there helping me every step of the way. Of course, I led, even though I was the host, I led as one of the main conversation led with emotional intelligence, right? And emotional intelligence is knowing you, becoming that best version of you, and then helping those through that same process, right? Using your emotions to make better decisions every single day of your life. That's it. That's it. This doesn't get any more complicated than that. It's very easy. Very easy. I'm not going to give you the textbook version of what EQ is and all that stuff. That you could go read that on Google, right? But simple version, getting a handle on your emotions so that your emotions don't get a handle on you. That's what it's pretty much about. So that was that. And we started with that and we just went in on conflict resolution, conflict management. We went in on um everything from a leadership standpoint, what they needed to become that best leader, all of the skills, all of those soft skills that sometimes leaders, we employers kind of run away from and saying that we don't need. But that's exactly what we need today, right? Those soft skills, leadership skills, one of them being emotional intelligence to get us to become that best boss, that best leader, right? So that way your employees are more engaged, they're more connecting, they're there physically, not only physically there, they're mentally there. Their mind is there, their heart is there, their spirit is there, right? And that's what this leadership summit was that I did last month in October at my job. And I was thinking I was thinking 80 of the people weren't going to show up because it was planned for 80 plus people. And do you know that every single one of them showed up? And then some, because we had new managers that started as well. 80 plus people showed up. And the feedback and the conversation, and I think based on the survey that we did, that was where people got the best of their meat, of their sauce, of their they were able to get the speakers were able to share real life strategies that they could share and do in their departments today to make a difference. One of the main things was that during it wasn't just us dishing out information because you go to all these trainings and you're just getting information, just writing down and getting information, just writing down. It was interactive. It was interactive. The employees, all of my leaders were talking about the different things that are going on in their department, specific scenarios, how we could help them, and the speakers, them and myself on the spot gave them, did you try this? What about this? Hey, do that. Yeah, do this. Try this breathing technique. Or did you do the bear model when it comes to conflict resolution and kind of sharing feedback? Like when you're giving feedback to your employees, did you do that? And they're like, oh, we never tried that before. Do you know anything about the frog story? Like all of these things that they tangible stuff that, yes, the job is one thing, and doing the day to day and all of the intricacies, right, that comes to do with doing the job. But when it comes to managing people, that's a different story. That's a different story, right? Because not everybody can sometimes people get a little bit hang up on that, right? And it doesn't have to be complicated. It's not it. We tend to overcomplicate things, right? And it doesn't need to be complicated at all. So it's just a matter of you stopping, listening, getting with an expert in the room, being with that person, and we were able to share conversation on the spot, tips right then and there with each one of my leaders, and it was chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I say that because every single one of the conversation, the examples that we shared with every single one, everybody was open. They were listening. They were joking. They were, we had giveaways. The topic, right? The topic that I came up with for the entire summit was essential pieces for thriving together. I know. Yeah. And the pieces were, everything was in the shape of a puzzle piece, because at the end of the day, you are that essential piece. I am that essential piece, right? So, you as that essential piece, what are you doing to make that environment, that culture, that company, that department, your employees, your peers better? What are you doing? We oftentimes tend to point fingers, right, at what the company's doing, what your boss is doing. What are you doing? What are you doing? What have you done? Right? That's the question. What have you done? And if you haven't done anything, what can you do? Right? What can you do? So that was what the most of the conversation was about. Another another um another takeaway was people said they wanted more. They wanted more. I was like, you guys, it was but because it was real. It was real conversation. We weren't beating around the bush. We weren't dancing around the person, because we got rid of all of that. I said, hey, first things first, check your check yourselves at the door in terms of, we don't dance around people's and their emotion. We get straight to the point. If there's something that is you're dealing with in your department, let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation, right? Let's be real. And I said, check your emotions at the door. Check your perspective, your experience. Check it all at the door. And let's come in and be real. And let's take that mirror, the first things first, take that mirror off the wall, put it on yourself, and let's say, how did you contribute to this particular situation? How did you contribute? Because again, employees leave supervisors, not companies. So, what did you do, or how could you have prevented those 15 people that left your department last month? What could you have done? Right? Did you do all that you could do? right? What does that look like? Right? And that's what the summit was that I hosted, got together my for my organization. Right? So that was a first for me. I've never done hosted my own very own summit. So that was delicious. Learned a lot, got a lot of feedback. So now we're going to take this information that we got, follow up with each department, continually do these get-togethers, probably not on an extended 2 day, but probably a day, and take the different subjects, break them down to their most basic form, and give each manager, leader, right, the tools that they need to be able to succeed, right? Let's get down to it. And sometimes people don't like talking in huge groups. Let's go into that specific department, that specific leader, manager, director, VP, whatever, and have that conversation with them. Hey, what is it that you need? Or watch them, observe them for a little bit, and see from your perspective, because we all have blind spots, right? So how can I serve you? So let's work out those different ways and how I can help you become the best version of you, not only for you and your organization, but for your employees, which is why we're here, which is what leads to sustainability, which is what leads to innovation, which is what leads to a culture where people are happy. Don't you want people in your company that is happy? Because happy people make other people happy. They do. Research shows it. It sure enough does. So that's the second first that I've had in the past 3 months. Now, in this month, I'm going to mix of a little bit more personal, right? So this month, going back to the more of a personal, we just left the professional for the month of October. So the personal would be I've I've had my birthday 2, 3 days ago. Number one. Number two, I've never been to Bahamas. And I went to Bahamas. And it was for a couple of days. And it was a really good experience. Right. And let me turn this camera around a little bit, give you guys some of that view. Look at that view. And this is a little bit of the calmness of the life that I had over there in terms of the water and the sea and the breeze and the greenery that I had over there in Bahamas. And that whole experience kind of taught me to live. Sorry, you guys, live. The end of the year is coming. I know sometimes the end of the year can be hard on some because we have lost people throughout, especially during the holidays, the last holidays of the year, Thanksgiving, you know, Hanukkah, Christmas, all of that beautifulness. And then we get sad. Other people are really excited about the holidays coming up, like myself. I love the holidays. They used to be my grandmother's favorite holiday, Christmas. So I love Christmas. But I wanted to say that in spite of all of that, all of those are simply emotions. People, experiences that cause them to feel a certain way about a certain thing, about a certain holiday, about a certain event. All of it is an experience. So, what I learned in the islands of Bahamas, the tropical island of Bahamas, was the story you told yourself to love. If you told yourself the story to like something, you can also tell your story to you can also tell yourself the story to not like it. So if it's not working for you, change the story. Change it. You can change it. It's totally fine for you to change it. Nobody is going to, it's nobody, probably people won't even care. But what you're telling yourself in your head, oh, I'm not going to do this because of that. Or I'm not going to leave that job because of this. Or I'm not going to ask for that promotion because of that. Tell yourself a different story. Tell yourself a different story. I didn't plan to go to Bahamas. My sister, an opportunity came. A friend of hers had a birthday. Um, Husband said, go. You think he had to tell me twice? Probably not. Probably not. You guys can probably hear that I have a little cold that I'm getting over. I had a little bit too much fun in the Bahamas. But in essence, it was my first time being over there in the islands of Bahamas. I would not have had that experience if I didn't take up my sister's offer, right? And that was the first time for me, right? So those are my three firsts that I've had in the past 3 months. So I ask you, when was the last time you had a first and you enjoyed it? Right? So that's what I learned over there in the Bahamas. I was reminded that the story I told myself way back when about this particular situation or this particular holiday or this particular event or this particular person, the story I told myself then, maybe I can tell myself a different story and actually forgive. Maybe you don't have to be their friends. Maybe you can actually forgive them and finally let go. Finally move on. Finally be yourself again or see yourself again, right? So that's what I wanted to get on here and say. It looks like I said it in the about the time that I wanted to say all of this in the 30 minutes. And I know for sure that every single action that you do today determines your future tomorrow. So I challenge you today to make your actions equate to the future that you want to see tomorrow. Become that best version of you with intelligence. And I challenge you to become that best version of you with intelligence. EQ intelligence. EQ is where the future is. I saw a research recently by Microsoft that said that one of the top skills in with AI and humans working together in the future is emotional intelligence. Go look it up. Research it is the research backs it up. It's there. And that's one of the reasons why I have honed in on my EQ. I challenge you to get a handle on your EQ, be the best version of you, right? Get a handle on your emotions, get a handle on what is it that you want to do, what you like, what you don't like, so that way people don't catch you off guard. People don't catch you off guard out here in these streets acting all crazy. And if you don't believe me, I mean, you know, ask the millions of people up in, in prison, in jail today because they allow their emotions to get the best of them, right? They jumped to conclusions. They did something and they were so in the situation and what was going on that they just acted and they struck that person. They killed that person. They left the baby. They did this, they did that. They're in jail today. They're in prison because if someone was there or if they had the skills, the the skills to or the coping mechanisms, I should say, right? If they had the coping mechanisms to regulate their emotions, like I know when people yell at me, I get tense. I know that about myself. I don't like people yelling at me. So what I do is I pause the person. I say, hey, this conversation is getting out of hand. Because one, you're raising your voice. Usually you keep a voice at a 3 or 4. But if you're raising it to a 12, 13, 14, 15, That's not the conversation I want to be in. I'm not yelling at you. I expect for you not to yell at me. So how about we table this conversation to when we are in our best, when we are our best selves? Because right now we are not our best selves. So you walk away, right? Other people can't walk away, and some people didn't walk away, and some people are dead today because they didn't, right? And that's how EQ can help you. That's how it has helped me, and that's how it continues to help me all of these years, all of these years. So I'm going to share a little bit of this water and this view with you guys before I get out of here. And let's see here if it will allow me to do that. Yes, yes. Where's the camera? Here we go. So yeah, you guys, this is the view that I'm looking at right now. Yeah, this is the view that I'm looking at right now. I hope you guys enjoy it. Know that this screams peace to me. It screams life. And I hope you can take this, take it for yourself, and allow this to be a great kickstart to your amazing day, because it's definitely been a kickstart for me. I look like I have a sweater on out here, but it's a little cold in the 50 degrees. And if you hear the water, it's because my foot is in the water now. And that's how I'm going to end this for you guys today. So I appreciate each and every single one of you guys that are watching this live, and those that will watch it in the future. Have an amazing day, and know that self-love is really the best kind of love. It's really the best kind of love. So take care.